So you want to learn how to crochet? Okay, let's get into it. Now look, I know it's been a while since we made a video. Don't blame me. Blame the creator. She has ADHD.
Hey, I'm right here. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, today we're going to talk about the chain stitch and the single crochet stitch. The chain stitch is the simple foundation stitch. It's also known as the foundation chain. So to make your first chain, you will first need to know how to do a slip knot. To create a slip knot, you're going to take your yarn and you're going to wrap it around itself like so to make a little O or a hole, whatever you want to call it. I won't judge. Once you have that O, you're going to take what we call your working yarn, which is the yarn over here. This is your tail end. So you have your tail and your working end. You're going to take your working end and you're going to put it through that hole you created and bring it up like so. Now you take the tail end of the yarn and you just slightly pull it. And you see, we've created a little knot. You don't want to pull too tight because you need to adjust this loop here later. Now that you've made your slip knot, you're going to take your hook and you're going to put it through that hole. You want to make sure that your tail end is on the opposite side of you and the working end is on your left side. Tail end is on the right, the working yarn is on the left. And as you can see, my placement here, I have the yarn wrapped between my fingers like so. Take your pinky, put it on the outside of the yarn. Your ring finger should be on the inside of the yarn. Your middle finger should be on the outside, and your pointer should be on the inside. So over, under, over, under. And to begin your chain, you're going to grab your tail end while you have your working end in your fingers, and you're going to pull those two pieces further apart from each other to tighten that slip knot. You do not want to make it too tight though, because you want to be able to leave your chain stitches a little loose, because this is what you're going to be working in with the rest of your stitches to come. Once you tighten your slip knot, I like to hold the tail end between my thumb and my middle finger here. Pinch it slightly. That gives you better control of the yarn. Once you've inserted your hook and you've tightened your slip knot just enough, again, leaving some extra space in there, you're going to what we call yarn over. Yarning over is simply taking your working yarn and wrapping it over the hook. We are going to yarn over our hook. You see the yarn is inside the hook now, and we're just going to turn our hook to where the hook is facing the ground, and we're going to pull it through that loop. And now you have your first chain. Let's do that again. You're going to yarn over your hook, turn the hook to where the hook is facing the ground, pull it through the loop, and you have another chain. Now remember, you want to keep some space within those chains. If you do it too tight, you will have difficulty bringing the yarn through the loop. Hoop, loop, loop, hoop. Same thing. So let's do it a few more times. Yarn over, turn your hook, pull it through the loop. Yarn over, turn your hook, pull it through the loop. And do that a few times until you have a decent chain. Now that we have our chain, you can see the V stitches here. You have now completed a chain stitch or a foundation chain. There are turning chains, so you will use chains outside of the foundation. The turning chain is a chain made at the starting row or at the end of the row of your pattern to bring the yarn up over the height of the next row. So a turning chain is essentially just going to help you be able to turn your work to start the next row. And it varies in sizes depending on the stitch that you're doing, whether it's a single crochet, double crochet, triple crochet, half double crochet, half triple crochet, blah, 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 blah. Now that you have your chain, we're going to talk about a single crochet. It's probably going to be the very first stitch that you use. I mean, unless you're an overachiever like me, you start jumping in with like triple crochets and magic rings and stuff. I do not suggest that. Don't do that. Start small. Crawl before you walk. Typically, in a chain foundation or a foundation chain, going to skip that first chain. With the single crochet, you're going to insert your hook into the back, going from the front to the back of that chain stitch. And once you do that, you're going to yarn over, turn your hook, and pull it through. Now you should have 2 loops on your hook. So at this point, we are going to yarn over again, turn your hook, and pull it through both loops. That is your first single crochet. Let's try that again. You're going to put your hook from the front to the back through that chain, the next chain, yarn over, turn your hook, pull it through. You should now have 2 loops. Again, making sure you leave enough space for your hook to go through. Don't do it too tight because you're going to struggle trying to get that yarn through that loop. Listen to me. Do not do it too tight. Don't do it too loose either. But better loose than too tight. Bet you he never said that. Now that we have our 2 loops, yarn over, turn your hook, hook facing the ground, and pull the yarn through both loops. Let's do that a few more times. Insert your hook through the next chain, yarn over, turn your hook, pull it through. You should have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, turn that hook, pull it through. Put your hook from the front to the back in the next chain, yarn over, pull it through. 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull it through. Insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over, turn your hook, pull it through that chain. You have 2 loops on your chain. Yarn over and pull it through both loops. And continue that until the end of your chain. And congratulations, you have now done your first row in crochet. Aren't you proud of yourself? At this point, if you want to go to your next row, remember that turning chain I mentioned? That's when you would do a turning chain to go to the next row. So a turning chain is simply, once you get to the end of your row, you're going to yarn over your hook, turn your hook so it's facing the ground, and pull through that 1 loop. Once you've pulled through that loop, you can now turn your work and start working on your next row. And you would start in that first stitch, that first V stitch here, and continue your single crochets. I hope this has been helpful. And stay tuned. I promise it won't be forever when we do another video. I promise. I promise. I'm going to stay on her. I promise. Happy hooking, everyone.